All right, today we're jumping right into a huge story, the new global race for resources. But we're not talking about gold or oil. Nope. We're talking about the essential elements that are literally going to power our high-tech future, and right at the heart of it all is India's massive new plan. But before we get into that, let me ask you something. Think about an electric car, a giant wind turbine, or even a state-of-the-art fighter jet. What's the one hidden ingredient they all have in common? It's something you almost never see, but without it, none of that amazing tech would even exist. The answer is it's critical minerals. These are quite literally the building blocks of our modern world and the absolute foundation of the green energy revolution. Now, to really get why this is such a big deal, you have to understand the sheer scale of what's happening. This isn't just some niche industry topic. People are calling this the world's new gold rush. So, what even makes a mineral critical? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It boils down to two key things. First, it has to be absolutely essential for a modern economy to run. And second, its supply chain has to be shaky, vulnerable, usually because it's only found in a few spots around the globe. And their importance? It's just staggering. We're talking about the batteries in our EVs, the systems that store solar power, and the smartphones that we all have in our pockets. But it goes so much deeper than that. They're in crucial defense equipment and even in things like potash for fertilizers, which help secure our food supply. They really are the hidden ingredients of everything. And because they're needed for everything, that leads us to a really high-stakes problem for India. For a country with such massive ambitions, having to rely on other countries for these minerals, well, that's a huge vulnerability. And look at this chart. This right here is the heart of the problem. Take rare earth elements, for example. Now, the world's gotten better at digging them up from different places, but the most important step, processing them into something usable, that's a whole different story. China controls the processing for nearly 85% of the entire global supply. That gives them a massive geopolitical chokehold on the whole high-tech world. This kind of dependency puts India's biggest national goals in serious jeopardy. Its goal for net zero emissions, its plans for a green energy grid, and its grand vision of becoming a developed nation by 2047. Every single one of those ambitions depends on having a stable, secure supply of these exact minerals. So, what's the response to this enormous challenge? The Indian government has launched a massive top priority strategy, the National Critical Mineral Mission. This is their game plan to get ahead in this global race. And make no mistake, this isn't some minor policy tweak. This was announced at the highest possible level during the Union Budget speech, and the focus is crystal clear. It's a full-spectrum national strategy that covers everything from at home and recycling old stuff to buying mines overseas. And there is a real fire lit under this thing. They've literally put a clock on it. This is a focused 7-year sprint. The goal is to build an entire resilient critical mineral ecosystem for India from scratch by 2031. That is incredibly ambitious. So how in the world does a plan this ambitious actually work? Well, while all the details are pretty complex, the core strategy is actually elegant and simple. You can break it all down into 3 parts: dig, buy, and recycle. Okay, first up, dig at home. They plan to radically ramp up looking for and mining these resources right inside India's own borders. Second, buy abroad. This is about going out and acquiring strategic mineral assets like mines in other countries that have them. And third, reuse and recycle. This is huge. It means building a circular economy to pull these valuable minerals back out of old electronics, batteries, and other junk. Now, this all sounds great on paper, but how will we actually know if it's working? Well, the government has laid out some very concrete, measurable targets, and importantly, they're putting some serious money behind it. And the ambition here isn't just talk, it's tangible. We're talking about launching 1,300 new domestic exploration projects and going out to acquire 50 mines overseas. The goal is for both domestic production and recycling to each meet 10% of India's total demand by 2031. And it's not just about mining. It's about building a whole industry, training 10,000 professionals and generating 1,000 new patents. To make all this happen, the government is putting some serious cash on the table. The initial funding for this mission is a massive 16,100 crore rupees. That is a huge capital injection designed to kickstart everything from exploration to R&D. And that's just for starters. On top of that direct government funding, India's public sector companies are expected to invest another 18,000 crore rupees, and most of that is aimed at one thing: buying up those strategic mineral assets abroad. So all told, we're looking at a combined investment of over 34,000 crore rupees. Wow. Okay, so we've got the plan, we've got the funding, but let's take a step back and ask the big question. What does this all add up to? Why is this mission so much more than just a mining plan? Why does it matter so deeply for India's future? When it comes right down to it, this whole mission is about a choice between two very different futures for India. One path is to continue being dependent on others, staying vulnerable to global shocks, and getting left behind in the green energy transition. The other path is self reliance, building secure supply chains, gaining real strategic autonomy, and absolutely supercharging its Make in India manufacturing goals. This mission is a deliberate high stakes bet on that second path. So, if you remember one thing from all this, let it be this. The National Critical Mineral Mission is not about digging rocks out of the ground. It's a comprehensive blueprint for securing India's technological and economic sovereignty for decades to come. So, the plan is ambitious, the funding is there, and the stakes could not be any higher. This is India's all in bet on its future. But the final question still hangs in the air. In a fiercely competitive global race, can it actually secure the finish line? Thanks for joining.